Big problem for businesses is always trying to make content, always trying to create something new, whereas this gives you structure to your content creation and it gives you something to draw down on every single day of the week, so you are never short of content. So here in Click Media Marketing, we create a lot of content, and our content comes from long form content that we cut into short form content and we use everywhere and in between. So our process looks a lot like this. So we record a podcast that we also video record. That becomes a long form piece of content that we strip the audio for a podcast and we use the long form video for YouTube. Then what we do is we cut that into different sections to create short form content that we use during the week on our LinkedIn profiles and across social media. So this is the structure of how we go about doing that. So the first thing we do is we always create a plan. So each week for each episode, we create a 6-question list with an introduction, 3 or 4 questions in the middle, and then we always do 3 tips at the very end. This gives our podcast a structure from week to week, but it also provides us with the basis of what the cut-up videos are going to look like later. So these questions are specific to the cutting process later. So you need to think about that when you're creating your initial plan for the podcast. You need to make the long form piece of content flow, but you also need to make sure that each section of the questions would be coherent as a short form video as well, out of context from the full conversation. So it's worth bearing that in mind. The next thing you need to do is set up your equipment. So you need a microphone and a camera. Most people will have their smartphone. I am using a smartphone right now to record this, but any sort of camera and any microphone will really work to get started. I would highly recommend a microphone if you want to strip the audio for a podcast later, because that audio needs to be as clear as possible, and also it brings a higher quality to your video if your sound quality is good as well. So that is the first step. You sit down and you record it. The next thing you want to do is edit it. So what you want to do is edit it in long form. So you're getting your video ready for YouTube. Now, what I would recommend is having a short intro, the actual jingle intro, shall we say, the rest of the podcast, and then have that jingle again at the end. That is how we edit ours. If you want to have a look at any of ours on YouTube, I'll have a link below. The next thing that you want to do once you have the long form piece of content is to put together all of the different questions that you had in the beginning. Time them out. Check where those points start and finish. So for example, I would rewrite out on a piece of paper the 6 different topics that we were discussing, or the 6 questions, and I would say introduction from 44 seconds to 2 minutes 33, and that would be clip 1, and I would continue that process. So I would cut out the snippets. The next thing I want to do is I need subtitles throughout. So I will go over to YouTube, and I have created a separate account on YouTube specifically for this. So all I do on this account is upload videos in private, and those videos I leave YouTube automatically generate those subtitles, and then I reread them, make any edits for where Google or YouTube has made any mistakes, and then I download the SRT file. That SRT file is really important for the next step. So the next thing I do is I'll go over to Kapwing.com and I will upload the full length video. And what I will do is upload the SRT file so that I can mash together the original video file with the SRT file from YouTube. And what that does is it subtitles your video. Now on some platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, you could upload a longer form piece of content, I think up to 10 minutes on LinkedIn, much longer on Facebook. But what you can do is upload the SRT file with it so that it embeds it automatically within the platform as well. But what we like to do is actually create a little bit of space above and below our video to keep the title on the top and the subtitles running throughout. And that can be all done in Kapwing. All you need to do is adjust the sizings before you put in the subtitles, before you upload the SRT file. Then, once the SRT file has loaded and you've downloaded your video from Kapwing with the subtitles embedded, I use Wondershare Filmora and I import the video and make the cuts on the video exactly where I had pinpointed them when I listened through to the video when subtitling or something, and I jotted down those times to tell me when to start and finish. And then when I cut those out, I add the little bit of music to the end, and I usually put a thumbnail at the start. If you add a thumbnail to your video for the first half of a second, it will auto pull as the thumbnail on LinkedIn especially, so that's when you see the thumbnail pop up. For some people, I've noticed that on LinkedIn there's an opportunity to upload a thumbnail, and then on other accounts I've seen that not available. So that is the safest way to ensure your thumbnail is always there, on LinkedIn anyway. So once your pieces are cut, the next thing that you can do if you want to take it a step further is listen through to the episode and jot down any of the key quotes. All you need to do is have a headshot of the person, upload it into Canva, put the quote next to them, and then you could get 5, 6, 7, 8 quote cards for the week. You can also rejig these inside in Canva to create some stories, or you can pull little 5-6 second video clips, up to 15 seconds really, and you can create Instagram stories from those videos as well. So that is how you go from creating full long form content, stripping it right down to short form content and everything in between. And the best thing about this is that a big problem for businesses is always trying to make content, always trying to create something new, whereas this gives you structure to your content creation and it gives you something to draw down on every single day of the week, so you are never short of content. If you have any questions on the content creation process that we use here in Click, feel free to comment below or contact us directly in Click. Thanks!